sure that they can probably already see us now, but I just want to make sure that that comes through before. Maybe. Oh no, and then it's coming through my own speakers.
Oh, that's Jamie Robinson. That's, oh.
Okay, great. So we are live. Hello, everybody that's joining us. Feel free to let us know in the chat if anything is sounding off or something is missing. I'll try to do the tech on my end here. So welcome everybody to another Playwright to Playwright, where emerging writers interview a fellow Canadian playwright that has influenced their work. I'm Justin, the project manager for the Canadian Plaything. And the Plaything is hosted from Victoria, BC and Calgary, Alberta, where I am myself. So respectively, that's the unceded territories of the Lekwungen peoples, and then Treaty 7 in Calgary, the territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy and the Tsuut'ina Nation. It's a great privilege that we have across the country to create and discuss theater on this land. And in discussion tonight, you can see already on the screen, we have the wonderful Donna Michelle St. who's joining us from Hamilton, Ontario, the territory of the Erie, Neutral, Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. And on the other side of the screen, we have Christine Rodriguez joining us from Montreal, which is the traditional territory of the, oh no, I forgot the pronunciation. Christine, could you help me out again?
We're in Chichoge on the territory of the Kanien'kehá:ka territory, right. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Originally I thought it was just Mohawk, but I think you mentioned we're getting more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it means it's Mohawk.
Right.
But the actual word in the language is the Kanien'kehá:ka
right.
territory.
Perfect, okay. And then to start us off, I guess we'd love to hear a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in the theater and anything you're kind of currently thinking about. Maybe starting with Christine.
Okay. Well, I'm Christine Rodriguez. I'm an emerging playwright, and I work for Black Theater Workshop. I'm a theater administrator as well as a playwright actor. And right now, my next project is actually translating my play, Simone Half and Half, in French. And I'll be starting that in the spring. Donna Michelle?
I'm Donna Michelle St. I'm also Belladonna the Blest all day long. And I'm an MC, playwright, agitator. I have been privileged to direct a little bit lately. That's pretty cool. And dramaturgy comes up from time to time. I come to theater through multidisciplinary performance background. My history with the stage starts with hip hop, moves through improv and sketch comedy. And through my work with Native Earth, I was lucky enough to land here in this place where I live now.
Amazing. All right. And so tonight is a interview between Christine and Donna Michelle, but we're also going to be playing in the background a little bit of a writing game, building from last time. It's going to be essentially our two playwrights are going to pitch a hypothetical play title into the YouTube chat, and then whoever's watching, you'll respond with a fringe style blurb, so what the fringe show of that title would be, and then we're gonna the players are gonna pick their favorites and see what's what, and yeah, so we're just gonna come up with a couple creative ideas while we do the interview as well. And so the event is an hour long, and if you have any questions for either of the playwrights as well, feel free to throw those in the chat, and then they'll see them as well. And with that, I will pass the torch off to Christine for the interview.
Oh, you want to start with the interview? Great.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
The readings.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll start with the readings. Okay. So tonight I'm going to read two monologues from different plays. The first one is from my play, The Autism Monologues. And it has just, I'm going to give you a trigger warning that there's a police interaction with a vulnerable person. So I'll start with that monologue. We got the call around 2:30 this afternoon. The information that we received was that the suspect was in a state of hysteria. He had a threatening demeanor towards the other people in the vicinity. So we got there and we saw that the suspect was completely out of control. He was shouting so loud it hurt my ears. He was throwing stuff everywhere. He had overthrown chairs and tables, a complete maniac. The room was empty except for the supervisor who was trying to calm him down. Everyone else was hiding in another room to keep safe. We did what we had to do. We jumped into action. We grabbed the suspect by the arm, one arm behind his back. We sat him in a chair and we handcuffed him. No one was hurt thanks to our intervention. That's what I call a success. It's a good day when things end up that nicely. That's why you're really getting on my nerves with all your questions. I know that he was only 4 years old, but our actions weren't excessive. We did what we're supposed to do. He was scaring the other kids. There were 2- and 3-year-olds and babies. I had to do something to calm him down. What did you expect me to do? Talk to him? Ask him what's the matter? Maybe you would have liked me to buy him an ice cream with a Coke and gummy bears. You know the protocol as well as I do. When someone is a danger to others, we neutralize him. Autistic? I don't know anything about that. 4 years old, raging like a maniac like you wouldn't believe. I'm not happy that it happened. All I did was follow my training. I know you have if you have new procedures on how we're supposed to deal with someone with autism, well, let me know, because I don't know anything about that. But what I do know is that the public safety, that's what's most important. All right, the next monologue is from my most recent play, Simone Half and Half, which was a school tour for a Black Theater Workshop last February before everything shut down. We were lucky enough to get the show in during Black History Month in 2020. So there's a trigger warning here too, because you're going to hear the N word in French. We used to spend Christmas up north with my mom's Quebecois family when I was a kid. I had this one cousin who was way older than me. He was my favorite. He'd have the best playlist with Rihanna and Bruno Mars, and we'd try out dance moves. I adored him. That's why my mom and I were so excited when he came over the other day, out of the blue. He got married a few months ago and wanted to share his wedding video with us. So we sat down in the living room with him to watch it. My dad was out at the time. So we get to this part where it showed everyone arriving at the wedding reception at a hall in Saint Eustache on some country road. The sound was on and you could hear the videographer, a buddy of his, talking a bit. So we're watching all these white people arrive at the reception, you know, pure laine. And then my family arrives, my mom, my dad, and me. Oh, there you are, my cousin says. Yay, that's us, cool. I mean, at this point, I'm just really excited because my cousin is visiting my house and that makes me happy, and he's happy about getting married. We're all happy. Then I hear the videographer on the DVD say, "Regarde, c'est le nègre." And for a millisecond, I'm like, what the? And I glance over at my mom and she's still smiling, but there's a weird look in her eyes. I know she's wondering if I heard it too, but we keep watching the video. My cousin's so happy about his wedding. I don't know if he's choosing to ignore it or just didn't hear it or just doesn't care. So yeah, in that moment, I wasn't excited or happy anymore that my cousin came over, but we kept smiling the rest of the time as if it never happened. And we never spoke about it afterwards, ever. That's it.
Thank you for that, Christine. I remember
Thank
that
you.
monologue.
Yeah. Yeah, we did it at the assembly in Montreal. You picked it. You asked me to do it, to perform it.
Oh, we go back.
Yeah.
Excellent. I would like to share with you a little piece of Sound of the Beast, which is my solo show that was produced by Theater Passmarai, and it toured, came to Black Theater Workshop as well, and went out to Rumble and to FemFest. Thanks to all those people. I mean, and a million more people. I wrote their names down in the book. I'm just going to start from the beginning and get a little ways. So here goes. The cipher is a circle, like a sacred congregation of spontaneous exchange, ideas and energy, the same in that we're sparking from the flame of this engagement, relegated to the basements, unpremeditated and extemporaneous. Welcome. This is the space that I dream from, where I scream from rage or elation, embracing my naked emotion, unafraid of judgment or misunderstanding. One desk, 4x4, lamp, chair, rug on floor, a little tattered but familiar, scraps of my mind's inside scattered on every surface, haphazard or posted purposeful, some low and others higher. Words and images chosen to inspire my best expressive self. This is the me that I've constructed to remind the me that I am of the me that I hope one day to become. I say my space into being. I raise these walls through bricks of conviction, constructing through diction a frame at which I am the center and no one can enter whom I do not invite. Where the truest account is the one that I write. Immunity from prove yourself, move along, or know your place. Impregnable blanket for it, whose fortitude is in my faith. I'm safe here. Have you ever been slow cruised? If you have, then you know, and if you haven't, it's impossible to explain. It's like this. The cops are always out there making themselves known, nothing sinister, just visibility. So when it happens, it's a thing that you know for sure happened when it was happening, but when you try to say what happened, there's no happening there to describe. This incident, which very definitely is something, becomes nothing. It's like a sentence without a verb. They bled me. I'm sorry, can you spell that? No, I can't. And I can't draw a picture of it either or point to it on a doll, but this thing happens frequently. It's the frequency that gets under your skin, the perpetualness. Each time they pass, they're saying something. Do you see me? I see you. And I know what you're about to do. Am I going to stop you today? Maybe, nah. Today I'll keep driving, but I could have stopped. I could have. It's a very grown-up game of I'm not touching you and you don't want to get touched. So when you see them, you suddenly think, act like nothing is going on, which is how you were acting before you saw them, because nothing genuinely is going on. But suddenly you can't remember what that looked like. So you're racking your brains trying to remember how fast you were walking before you saw them. And then you wonder, did I just speed up or slow down? And does that look suspicious? And is there a more suspicious looking person nearby who I could walk past in order to become less threatening on the curve? And okay, fair enough. I look like the type, right? It's fair enough. I mean, why didn't I wear a bow tie to the laundromat today? And all the while, they're slowly cruising by. You know what I mean? Have you ever been slow cruised? If you have, then you know. And if you haven't, well, you may say, just take it because it all serves a purpose. And if you never did nothing, why are you getting nervous? It seems knee jerk on the surface, but it goes deeper. Sound of the beast is the sound of the reaper, or the sleeper, or the choke. It's a taser for a toke. You grab the phone and then remember them 3 numbers is a joke. And you're on your own when you hear that note because the system's broke. Have you ever been slow cruised? The end of that section. Hey, girl.
I love that piece. I love that
Thank you.
play. Where's Justin?
Oh, he's left. He's left us alone to braid each other's hair.
Oh no. Okay, so maybe I should start. Well, on that note, on that note, actually that piece and why your work, why you're one of my role models as a playwright is because of the honesty and the boldness of the piece. And as an emerging playwright, I feel like myself sometimes intimidated to, or have been intimidated to tell the truth, to go get out there. And it's people like you who have really like taught me to say what I feel, and regardless of what how the audience may react. Like I can't be worried about hurting people's feelings. And so that piece where you the piece I read you, I was like, oh my God, like, oh, you know, I don't know. But you know, so you have to tell the truth. So that being said, I wanted to ask you, well, you mentioned you started in hip hop, but I wanted to know how long you've been a playwright. What has been your path to becoming one and to continuing to create prolifically? What obstacles, if any, have you had to overcome? And maybe you want to talk a little bit about your project with writing a play representing every country in the continent of Africa. It's a big question.
That was a lot. Okay, let me think on that while you get us started on the game.
Okay, so you want me to write my title in the chat? Okay.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Oh,
Here's my title.
Oh, in the YouTube chat.
Oh, where do you want me to put it?
Oh yeah, the YouTube chat. Sorry.
Yeah, that's way smart. Skip a step. We have technology at our fingertips. Okay, folks, we're dropping some titles in the chat right now. Christine's title is Curly Cot Cot. Nice. And my title is Justice for Jackass. So we're asking folks to give us a Fringe style blurb about those imaginary play titles. And I'm going to go rogue and say extra points if you cast it. My time to shine, Christine. I'm going to get a part in this imaginary production. Okay, so where were we?
So,
everything in the world.
Well, how you
started? Okay, let me tell you everything in the whole world.
Everything.
Okay, so really and truly everything in the world. The first play I ever saw was The Diary of Anne Frank, and I thought that was quite shocking indeed. And I thought I was way too young for that, and I still think that. To know such things. And I thought it was fictional. And when I discovered that it wasn't fictional, then I thought the fact that I didn't know that story was quite shocking indeed. And that is, I guess the mission is to make sure that stories are heard. So the first play that I produced on my own, The Birth of New Harlem, I remember deciding to rent a theater and put a play on.
Wow.
It was Artward Theater, and I said, I'm going to rent this theater for 2 weeks or something. And I just went down there and I said that, and I got the dates, and then they gave me the bill, and it was like $4,000, and I didn't have $4,000. And I went and asked someone if I could please borrow $4,000. Like, I'm good for it. Don't worry about it. And I rented the theater. And then I was like, how do you write a play?
Oh.
Because I did not have a play. I can only imagine someone must have said I couldn't do it. And then I decided to Tom Sawyer my way through life. At that time I was doing sketch and improv comedy. With a troupe called Show and Prove, and later on working with Platform Entertainment. And I think like some of the stuff, like maybe it was a little heavy that I wanted to do a sketch comedy show around sexual assault. Maybe that was heavy for folks. But you know, you bring who you are to the place you're in. And I was in comedy world, and so the things that I was thinking about were manifesting in that space. Anyhow, eventually I came to work at Native Earth as an administrator and came to learn about theater production. I got to be in the inaugural playwrights unit at Obsidian Theater Company. That was the playwrights unit started by Philip Aiken. And that's where I basically wrote the first piece of the 54ology, which is my umbrella project under which I will.
So 54ology, you have 54 countries.
Performance works. Well, it's not 54 anymore because Africa keeps breaking into pieces, but as many nation states as continental Africa breaks into, I'll write that many performance pieces.
How many are you into? How many have you done so far?
Done as in there's ink on paper
for that,
or like produced, done as in like, produced,
or ink on
published,
paper, written.
Yeah, written.
Oh no,
maybe
written.
24-ish.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's a little.
I have
taken
not
a little bite out of it.
Plays yet.
I mean, some would say quantity is.
That's why I say. That's why I say you're prolific. You're constantly creating work. Where do you get all your ideas?
Africa.
You just okay.
I mean, it's a world of stories out there, right? I think that you could go to the laundromat and come back with a play if something held your interest about that trip there and back. I've seen a good play about a trip there and back. So I don't think that there's any shortage of reasons to write or worthy stories or tellers. And I think it's really down to each of us finding something so compelling that we are fixated on it and somehow still don't become boring about it. Mm-hmm. That's the trick, really. So, I mean, I guess the answer to my output is that all of these stories preoccupy me. They, they're in me. I'm compelled by these stories to understand further. And every story is a puzzle, like every story is a mystery, and the mystery is like, why did they do that? And I think that's the question of most plays. And I don't get tired of asking it, so I don't get tired of solving the various puzzles that fit into that box.
I'm taking notes.
But what about you? Tell me, can you talk to me a little bit about what is it that compels you into the particular stories you choose?
I guess it's similar, like, I think I just want to scream sometimes. Look at this is horrible. Why is this happening? Make it stop. So then writing a play is like a nice way to do it. It's like things that bug me. That's the starting
it's
point.
Such a mild expression of the rage I just saw erupt from your soul. It bugs me.
Things that bug me. Well, it's just like, because like autism for me was like something that not many people understand, and so I was tired of having these one-on-one conversations explaining it. So I'm just going to write a play, and then people could see what it is, and then the Autism Outlaws was just telling more different stories, bringing more voices into the narrative. And Simone Half and Half's about being mixed race, so like it, all the stuff that's been thrown at me my whole life put into a play. So a lot of it is just, I guess like you, there's something that happens, and I just have something that I want to say about it and put it out there to share with people. The challenge is to make it interesting, to make it a story, like,
that's the word.
Because it's like, write a play about someone who's mixed race. Like, okay, well,
it was a dark and stormy mixed race night.
Exactly. It's like, so you have to find a story, compelling story. I mean, and on that topic, there's 50 plays through, you could write about mixed race characters because everybody's experience is different. So, but yeah, it's usually because I have something I want to share with everybody, make people aware. I always write on my grant applications, I'm an awareness creator. So,
I like what you like when you say like each person's experience of it is different. I think that's an important thing to remember too, because it's not just the telling of the story. It's not just whether the story's been told before. It's whether it's been told this way or from this perspective or angle or within this context. And so there's always like more times to tell a story that's been told.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's told it like me.
Yeah, well, your Sound of the Beast is quite unique. That's the thing. Your work isn't always your work. You use different styles in all your different works, right? Because I've seen Sound of the Beast and Gas Girls, and those are two very different plays. Well, a one-woman show, but it's not. But also like the language that you use, and this is very different. I guess looking at the theater scene, where looking at when you started with that theater that you rented for $4,000 and self-produced, and where you're at today. Well, look at the theater scene in general, where it's at today. What have you noticed? I noticed you're not giving away years. So, like how many years you've been in the business, but like, what do you?
Oh, I can probably tell you.
Well,
if I could do math, I could probably tell you.
Yeah. Well, like, what do you find
over 2 decades?
Okay, so like looking at 2 decades ago when you started to how it is today, do you think that the environment is very different? Like for us, for example, or do you think there's been an evolution, and how do you see your role in that in the theater scene today? Like, has it changed? Are you like, has it changed compared to when you started?
I mean, so I think change is the constant. It's the thing that we can close our eyes and count on still happening. And I see it. I don't know if I know what it means. Definitely there's a lot more diversity in leadership, and a greater profusion of companies with culturally specific mandates. So I feel like a big difference is that when I started in theater, everyone's first question is, why don't you take this to Obsidian? And now, pitching a similar story, a number of things could happen. One, people might not assume a Black company has to produce the play. Two, people could name several Black companies that you could approach with it, which is significant, because it's really important for those culturally specific companies to exist. And it's also really important for us to know that a company is not an entity. It is still run by a single artistic director with a vision, with a lens. And so that, if there's, for example, in Montreal, Black Theatre Workshop is where most Black work is done, and a play is not selected for Black Theatre Workshop, it's not like unselected by Black, But at that time, it felt that way. Like if Obsidian didn't do a Black play, that play was finished. And now there are more BIPOC leaders leading companies that aren't specifically culturally mandated. There are more companies that are interculturally mandated. And there is just a lot more freedom in terms of what we are expected to do. If there is only one Black play produced in Canada all year, it better be about Blackness. Like, that's what we brought you here for. And that is not the landscape that we're operating within. And I feel like there's a lot of freedom for us to broaden the lens of our stories, because that manufactured scarcity of production is alleviated just by how many independent means of production have come to exist by all the doors that have opened up. And, you know, not that the gates have been swung wide, but it's a very different landscape, and it's much more possible to like self-actualize, to be goop about
Yeah.
it.
It's we're in Montreal. We live in a kind of a schizophrenic place, like a multiple personality. I don't know, because you have the English side, which is what you're describing, an atmosphere and environment that's more open, more accessible
Mhm.
for us as artists. But then we have a French side that is like maybe kind of like how things were 20 years ago. So it's really strange, because you'll go to one theater and it's like, oh, look at the diversity, and then you'll go to another theater and you're like, you know.
Yeah.
But
I don't
that,
know. Yeah,
I
things
think,
happen at
is changing a
different
little
paces,
bit.
I guess. Yeah. I have to say, I'm very surprised to hear you use the word schizophrenic in that way, given your relationship with the subject of neurodiversity.
Yeah,
And I'm just,
I guess maybe that's not.
I'm struggling to
I
find
mean,
alternative.
No,
but I don't
it's
have it
probably,
yet.
it's actually the wrong, it's like split personality more, actually. Quebec, it's very strange. I use that term because it affects our mental health. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't throw that term out, but the thing is that it's taxing, because it affects our mental health. Because, like, you know, we live in a
Real.
province where people don't even believe systemic racism exists. It's really wears on you. So I don't know how to call it, because, like, in, you know, one instance, in one area you might feel safe, and then you go in another and then you don't feel safe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you mean,
actually,
even though I don't have words
schizophrenic's
for it,
completely
but
the wrong. Yeah, it's completely the wrong term, because it relates
I know
to
what you mean.
hearing voices, and we're not hearing voices. What we feel is real. So misuse of the word. Yeah, yeah, but it's challenging.
But I do, that's the thing I hear the most about the Montreal theater community, is the navigation of the two worlds, especially for bilingual artists, like just having to really understand two distinct ecologies in order to operate in that city. I've been really lucky working with Jordy and Black Theater Workshop to be, and maybe it's because I'm Anglo, to be sort of insulated from it. But I'm just curious also for you, how was that like? How does that manifest in your, in your work relationships?
Well, I mean, that's, I
do you
write
even
in.
encounter the Francophone community?
I do a little bit. I mean, there's no in for working in theater. It's very difficult to get into theater on the French side, unless you went to theater school and you got noticed outside of, like, as soon as you got out of French theater school and so on. It's very hard. And even people of color and Black people, Indigenous people who have graduated from those schools still have very, very limited opportunities. I would say film and television is a little bit easier, because I can't explain why. Maybe it's just, there's much more production, a lot of TV shows, lots of episodes, so you need lots of actors. But for stage, for theater, it's very, very difficult. It's very closed. But we've seen some openings, like they did Raisin in the Sun in French. The first like full Black production in French, with Mike Payette, that who directed it. So he kind of proved that the excuse like we can't find the actors, where are they? Well, he found them, and it was a very, very successful production.
Like, I'll put all of them in the same show.
Yeah, so that was it was when was that? Was that 2 years ago? So hopefully that opened people's eyes, and there'll be more more diversity on in French theaters. Well, actually, Black Theater Workshop is collaborating with a French theater company. So they're going to do a production of Pipeline in English and French. That was going to happen this spring, but because of COVID, yeah, they're going to do the plan is, I believe to use the same.
Yeah, when you say they're doing English, you saw Rendezvous Laquais, Jenny Laguerre show, which Jenny, I missed and still went to the opening night reception for. That was something amazing. Seeing a show done in alternating nights, English, French, English, French. That was like big brain stuff. Yeah.
So BTW is trying to expand the French market and work with people like with French, also French theater companies, Francophone theater companies in co-producing, or, they brought Black boys to, they helped, it was Espace Libre, if I'm not mistaken, like to come to Montreal. That was also really popular because it was just a great work, and they did it with
it's wild. Yeah.
They did it with French.
They did surtitling.
What do you call it? Surtitle. Yeah. So, and then we brought Jenny back to do another run of Rendezvous Laquais in French in our French Maison de la Culture. So, so yeah, there is stuff happening, but again, like Black Theater Workshops kind of like have their hands in it. So we're like, that's where we're not at the same level where, we're in Toronto, like theaters, like you say, they're not Afrocentric, but they'll produce all kinds, like diverse playwrights, diverse stories, and so on. And so here, I think we're just at the beginning in French, and I think that the changes are positive, and they're gonna hopefully start happening faster. But what advice would you have for emerging playwrights on where to start, like how to get noticed, how to be seen and heard? Because I'm just like at the tip, like I'm just starting and I'm still like, okay, I have one play produced, like so what advice would you have for emerging playwrights? Aside from finishing their first play, finish writing your play. But like, what do you know? Because it's like, I'm writing a play.
Okay, so I mean, that is actually thing one, though, right? Like, thing one is if you're like, I'm writing a play, and then people are like, let me see it, then like it should be there. But you're way ahead of that game. I think so. I've never been really good at the like strategy about getting noticed game. I mean, I'm pretty loud, so I don't put that much effort necessarily into it. But more than that, I'm like extremely worky. And I think that I know folks who are much better at getting the word out about like, I have this play in development, and then by the time it's done, people are like, I'm aware that exists and I'm waiting for it. That has been very effective for people to like let people in on where you're at in your process and not just go, ta-da, the baby's born, but like make everyone suffer for 9 months, But I personally, because I'm worky, I think the opportunities that I get are from people having seen my work. Like, just keep doing it, just keep showing up. And so like, there's not a stage that I consider too small to work on. And most opportunities that I get to do like something, I make the opportunity feel that I need to do, so for example, I've spoken fairly regularly at University College at University of Toronto for a particular class called UC1 that's like a gathering of 4 classes all together. And the topic is so broad and they're such generous hosts that when they invite me to speak, sometimes I'll be like, here's what's on my mind. And they're like, yep, that's a good thing. I mean, it's always justice. Let's be honest. It's always that. But while I had Sound of the Beast in development, they were like, hey, do you want to come and talk? And I'm like, there's literally only one thing I can talk about for the next 3 months. So I'm going to walk in and that's what I'm going to do. And it's knowing what would serve you, not what like the next step seems like it should be. What would serve me in that moment of spending a lot of time writing and doing dramaturgy. And on my first solo show, that I was gonna have to perform myself, which is like, it's not my bag. Performing solo theatrical work, that's not my bag. So I had to learn how to do that guts wise. And so in that moment, I was like, I don't need to come up with a whole other talk and spend the whole time thinking, should I be rehearsing? Am I going to forget my lines on stage? I need to come and run that show for you. Oh. And, you know, so just like every chance that you get, like, I'm just going to come to your class and run that show. Like, you call time when you're done and I'll stop. I'm going to run as much shows that I can get in the amount of time we have available. So like, what are the ways that you can keep advancing your work? When you can't advance your work, how are you advancing your craft? Like, what theater are you seeing in to be intentionally inspired? You know, seeing work that's different than what you create to broaden your brain in ways other than your habitual patterns. Those are all things I think that are really good for you. But nothing is better than doing the work.
And
nerd.
Did you do a lot
After
of,
we're done, I'm gonna go pants myself. It's fine.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna pants myself. I'm gonna rough myself up against the locker for being a nerd.
Oh, it's okay.
It's fine. I'm a nerd and a bully. I can take care of the entire, like, the whole production chain.
Okay. Did you do a lot of Fringe festivals?
I did not. The environment of the Fringe is very wacky, and my nerves are not so great.
Oh, okay.
And that moment between walking out of a show and getting to the sidewalk, that moment where you're passing the beer tent where someone might be like, hey, stay for a drink. I can't think of anything more frightening than that little patch. So I haven't done a lot of Fringe.
Okay.
But I'll do almost any festival, you know, that I get the chance to. I just don't have the energy for, like, people having a good time. How about you? Are you a Fringer?
I love the Fringe. I have to admit, because both
my people having a good time.
Yeah, I like that you just mentioned the beer tent, and I'm like, I miss the beer tent so much.
You people.
No, but that was my first experience. Yeah, the Dreaming in Autism was my one-woman show. So I got into the Fringe, and I had been writing this play, and it wasn't even finished. And I won the lottery, and I was like, oh my God, I have to finish it. So that was huge. But I really, like, for me, as a one-woman show, it was really hard to participate in the Fringe because it was a new experience, and it's a lot, like, as a solo, you know, your solo show, and especially Dreaming in Autism, it's like Sound of the Beast. There's a
personal.
lot. It's personal, and it's tough, you know. Tough subjects. But then when I returned and did the autism monologues, we were a cast of 5. And so I found that, like, so much easier for me because, you know, I didn't have to do all the heavy lifting myself. I had, like, because one person would speak, and while they're speaking, we'd be like, you know, so you're resting, you're at rest. And then, so I found that show, like, in comparison to Dreaming in Autism, I found it such a relief. And then, so I was able to enjoy the Fringe because then I didn't have all that weight on me. And so I had a bit more freedom to really go see other shows, to go by the beer tent and so on and so forth, hand out a million, you know, cards for my show, which now we're not allowed to do anymore. I know, it's like everything, you have to become more clever, like find new ways to promote your shows without wasting paper. But I enjoy the Fringe, but it's not everybody. It's not for everybody, especially that midnight show, you know, when you're a mom and you're like, you gotta get up the next day and take care of your kids. So I think we talked about
some of my first acting in the theater community was in a Fringe show.
Oh, you did?
And
okay.
I'm a horrible actor. And
are you? Well, I saw you.
I'm a terrible. No, come see me pretend to be me. It's fine. But like, In this play that I was in, there was a moment where the wind like blew really hard and everyone had to like grab a piece of furniture and get like blown off the side. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I got blown off stage. I just leave.
Oh my God.
Because I couldn't keep acting as long as everybody else. I don't think anybody liked me in that show.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, don't be. I brought it on myself. I could have just learned to act.
I know, eh? Like, when I started acting, taking acting classes, they would make you sit there and like, okay, now, you're in a waiting room and you can't speak and you just have to be in a waiting room at a doctor's office and you're not allowed to speak. So we're like, what? Acting without words? Like, the whole thing about like acting, it's not just when you're speaking, but when the wind is blowing, you have to...
That sounds very much like detention. Are you sure you weren't like in a lot of trouble?
No. It's actually it's like, you can't just act when you have lines. You have to be present. You have to be present. You have to it's a lot of
It's a
focus.
big craft, man. I have a lot of respect for it.
If you have, it's and for me, likewise, and my mind's all over the place. So it's like, oh my God, calm down. Like to really get into characters, really like you have to dig in, and because it's a lot of focus, But you directed.
I saw someone once fall asleep on stage.
Oh no, that's not good.
And that's been my nightmare ever since that's going to happen to me. Like in a scene, falling asleep.
Where? Can you say? On their feet? No way.
No, I can say no more.
Is it a major
I can
theater?
say no more.
Is it? But I was gonna say you directed also our son's father's
our father's sons, lovers, and little brothers.
Yeah. And you
Samamba.
That's another one-person show. So how do you, because like you were on stage and now you directed somebody, how was that?
Certainly better than being on stage, I'll tell you that. But working with Makambe is pretty dreamy. She developed the work significantly before I came on board, working with Audrey Dwyer. Okay. And had been performing it in festivals while it was in development. And so it was very strong in terms of like how it was being embodied and all of that. It came into my hands in a really strong way. And Makambe was really clear on what else it needed to be doing that she wanted to work towards. I'm a very collaborative creator. And so getting to work at each stage of this with a choreographer, bringing in other outside eyes to sort of have a look at it, and definitely working with like Maddie Bautista on sound design, and just like it's really, for me, directing is all about the collaborators. It's all about how that collective vision comes together and how like you say really vague things and they become very tangible and beautiful things, that I really enjoyed that. And I really felt confident coming off of Sound of the Beast, that I would be unusually sensitive to the needs of the creator performer. That I would be like unusually sensitive. Like, and Makambe is a trained performer as well, right? And so sometimes I'd be like, this part's a little scary. Do you want to not do this part today? And Makambe's like, cool it, I'm doing the scene. I'm professional and I came here to work, and I'm like, I wouldn't do the scene every day. So like, it was a real joy because she's not soft and not resistant in all the ways that I know that I'm awful to work with. It was really fantastic.
And how do you feel like as a playwright, like handing your work off to somebody, like say, okay, Black Theater Workshop is going to do Gas Girls, and they cast it, they have a director. Like, how do you, as a playwright, how do you negotiate that? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, is it something you enjoy doing? Like, bye, baby. Like or if you stress out, oh my God, like what is it gonna look like?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do with my work?
I'm never worried. Like, I've never had my work directed by anyone where I'm like, oh, good God, what are they gonna do? And I feel like, I'm back to singing the praises of my collaborators again. Quincy and Liz directed Gas Girls, like just full confidence. Philip Adams directed A Man of Fish out in Saskatoon. Like, I don't even need to look at that. It's great. I love it. Of course, I want to look at it. I want to look at it every single day. But like, I feel that I'm in alignment with these folks in terms of what the value system of the play is and what the reason is for doing this work. And so when on the occasions when I work with someone that I know less well, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. Claire Preuss, the first time I worked with Claire Preuss, who directed Salome's Clothes, and later Cake, great for me. That was a new relationship. I had worked with Yvette Nolan, who I collaborate with often, and who, again, like just like all kinds of unspoken vocabulary. And so I knew that she had worked with Yvette, and I felt confident in like her good spirit. But we still had those kind of conversations off the top of like really important things that you can't take for granted. Like, I knew that Claire did yoga, but I didn't know that Claire's like living yoga. Like, that's a serious distinction. And so things like, I don't do things below the neck. So if there's going to be physical stuff happening in rehearsal, I'll just go ahead and be late every day. Like, that's my non-negotiable. I'm not doing that stuff. At some point when our trust like grew, I was like, do that stuff a little bit. But I'm not coming in and getting all woohoo for strangers, and getting in my feelings in my socks. If I don't know you, that's like, buy me dinner. So the success of the relationship is negotiating up front what those important things are. And I feel like I get to have like 3 things. There's 3 things I need to have. Like, I need no one to be doing kissing on the stage at all, even if I wrote down that they do. Please don't do any kissing, because I want to come to the show and have a good time. And I need like, I don't know. I need when you're rehearsing this to like, don't make jokes about God, because he'll strike you down because I cursed this play. So it's got that magic. I don't know. I'll have 3 things that are very much me things. And then I'm so dead serious about, and they'll sound like jokes, and I'll be like, yeah, like it's a weird thing, and you just have to respect me and do it. And if you do those 3 things, it's none of my business what else you do. I really feel that way. I feel like I had however many years I worked on the play to write down everything I need. If I didn't write it down, I don't know. Let me learn about it for next time then.
That's a good point.
Who was the director for Simone Half and Half this last time around?
It was Quincy, and he had.
Oh, so you already know he's just fine to work with.
Yeah. I was really. He did a great job, and he had Amanda Kellock. Sorry, Amanda Kellock as a consultant, directing consultant. Yeah. But no, he did a great job, and I trusted him fully. I kind of like, well, I mean, it's the first time I have a theater company produce my work, so I can't say, like, I don't have that list of 3 things like you have, but I mean, he did ask, like, we did talk about casting. Yeah, but I mean, I think I already.
Just be ready for next time.
Yeah. Like, for sure somebody approached me for the autism monologues or whatever, or like dreaming autism, I would say, well, that's okay, but it has to be a person of color. Or like, the autism monologues, you have to have like autistic actors in the play. You have to have people of color, like you can't be a white, like, because some of the
exactly
some of the characters in the play were written from, yeah. So I just haven't had the experience to actually upfront, like, tell people, because Black Theater Workshop's the only one that again, I'm just starting out. But
also, like,
good
I don't
advice.
always have that conversation or have the opportunity to have that conversation, because to be honest, a lot of the times, and I mean, yeah, I'm working with someone and I'm like, okay, well, compared to you, I'm in grade 1, so why don't I shut up?
Yeah.
And you show me what a play looks like,
Yeah.
you know, like I know what a script looks like,
Yeah.
but yeah, you show me what a play looks like. And that's
Yeah.
a very liberating feeling as well.
Do you still get drama? Like, do you still have a dramaturge helping you when you write your own play? Like,
All the
I know you
time.
dramaturge for other people, but do you use a dramaturge as well?
Yeah, that's indispensable for me.
Yeah.
I don't trust myself that much, you know.
Yeah, it's good to have a sounding
How
board,
about
that
you?
outside voice.
Oh, I know who you
Yeah.
work with.
For Simone Half and Half, I worked with Dean Fleming.
No, I want to say, who did you work with on Simone?
Dean Fleming. He used to.
What was the Dean? I
was
had the wrong one.
Yeah, no, it was it was supported by Playwrights Workshop Montreal. But it was Dean who was the dramaturge. And I would have liked to work with you. I don't know what happened. Like, I think there's just, I don't know, crisscross. So we will work together, I'm sure, in the future.
There are always more days. But
Yeah.
I was glad that you got to work with Dean, actually, because like when I was working on Reaching for Starlight at Geordie, like I really knew that I can know everything in the world about story, which I clearly do not. But even if I did, I would know little about children and about the relationship between children and story. Like what I'm bringing to TYA is my child mind.
Mm-hmm.
my story and my willingness to engage with other young people.
Yeah, that's specifically
we're getting the word.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized the time.
But we didn't look at the messages.
Anyway, we need to look at some answers right now because I'm too slow. Justin, do you want to? You're welcome to join us and make us better at this. I see. Okay, I need to get these titles because I'm very excited to see what took place, but I'm not good at this.
Are you able to find them on your phone?
My second device has let me down.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's just not letting me scroll. So I'm seeing like a part 2 of 2, but I don't know what the first half of it is. Everyone bear with us for just one moment.
Yeah, that was Tara, and there are a couple ones before that too.
Okay.
Justice for Jackass. This is funny.
Can you see them, Christine?
These are really good. Yeah. Justice for
Jackass.
The class. Okay. Justice for Jackass invites the audience to deface remnants of felled statues of our former oppressors. That's a good one.
Okay, wait, sorry, part 2. Part 2 of Tara's suggestion. Each night the ensemble will be joined by special guests, such as Adrienne Clarkson, Emmanuel Lewis, and your mom. I take that in exactly the spirit it was intended. Your mom.
Your mom.
It's so cute.
Adrienne Clarkson.
There's another one here. It says
Governor General or
Governor General. That's right.
Okay. What?
We've got one here on your title, Christine. Curly Cot is a boy with lots of hair. Curls so big, people he thought he wore a wig. Then one day they cut off his hair and he cried. In fear his hair would grow back straight.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one for us.
That's my friend Kiki Dranis, another emerging playwright from Montreal. So hopefully she was taking notes.
What up, Kiki? All right.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, thank you for playing with us.
But it's true when you have curly hair, if you cut it, you don't know what's growing back. Like it could be completely different curls.
Like it could be mushrooms.
Well, no, but it could come out like more curly or less curly. You lose your curls. Like I don't know. Or like.
Okay, just for your peace of mind, I want you to know that on a shenanigan with Claire Preuss, I shaved my head just before Sound of the Beast. like right
Yeah.
before the show opened. We're like, let's shave our heads now.
And
And it just grew back like brand new healthy stuff that I didn't have a chance to damage yet.
Yeah.
As
When-
curly as ever. We're all
Okay.
different. We're all different, but
Well-
let's sleep well tonight knowing that we are not curly caught.
I know, eh? When I was younger, my hair was straightish, wavy, and I hit puberty and my hair became like totally curly. So
I'm glad you recovered from that condition. But you
from
no
having
offense,
straight hair,
anybody.
from having
We're just
straight hair.
we're doing curly bonding right now. Yeah, we're doing curly bonding, but
Low
bless you
maintenance.
everybody. Christine and Justin, thank you so much for this conversation and for the good times all around.
Yeah.
Did you want to do the Caribbean challenge? The Caribbean food challenge? Do we have time?
Can it happen in a
Lightning,
minute?
60-second lightning round.
Yeah, it's very
60-second
quick. Lightning. Okay. Well, okay. Plantain, sweet and soft or dry and hard?
You know, soft.
Soft and sweet. Roti, eat
Heck
with
yeah.
your hands or knife and fork?
What blasphemy is this? Roti is hand food.
I know.
Okay.
But I tried.
No, I know. The world is a
people.
wrong place.
Okay. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Side dish or main course?
Both. All the mac, all the cheese, all the time. Every chance that you have.
Okay. I know, but okay.
Are you calling it a side dish?
Yeah, but what about I give you another?
I respect that.
Yeah. Okay. What about we're in Quebec? I'm in Quebec. So mac and cheese or poutine?
Mac and cheese. Fuck you guys, man. No, mac and cheese just strictly to annoy the Quebecois.
Curry goat or curry
That
chicken?
makes it extra delicious.
Curry goat or curry chicken?
Well, curry goat or curry chicken? Goat.
Bones or no
Goats
bones?
better run.
Bones or no bones?
Bones.
Okay.
Bones.
And potatoes.
And run it down yourself if you can.
And last one. Last one, potato salad, green peas or raisins?
You're gonna straight out ask me in front of people if I'm white? That's what you came here to do?
No.
Justin, you better wrap this up. We're heading for violence.
Okay. Yeah, so with that note.
Good pop quiz, Christine. I loved it.
Yeah, okay, so we should really finish now. And I guess I just last thing is there anything that you're currently working on that you want the audience to know about? Yeah, the red carpet is yours.
Well, no, not well. I just the next thing I'm going to be working on is translating Simone half and half to French. So we got a grant to do that. So
awesome.
With Black Theater Workshop, yeah. So so that'll be interesting, and
yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll start that in April.
I'm heading towards a workshop in April. Oh, we're gonna have busy Aprils. Of The First Stone, and in May at New Harlem Productions we're going to be presenting a community justice forum, so everyone keep your bright shiny eyes open for ways to join in conversations about justice, big and small. Obsessed, I tell you.
Awesome, great. And I'm sure I have those links somewhere here so I can post them later on if people are looking for those. And I think with that, thank you both of you, Donna Michelle and Christine, for joining us tonight for this chat and interview and game. And you're right. So this event is supported by Playwrights Guild Canada and the Canada Council for the Arts. If you are an emerging writer and have a Canadian playwright that has influenced you or inspired you and you would like to interview them, send us an email and we'll try to make it happen. Yeah, and we're always open to feedback. So if you have more Fringe show titles you want the playwrights to know about, feel free to send those through the different social media channels. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good night and stay safe wherever you are. And with that, I think I'll take us off the air.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thanks
so
everybody.
much for joining us.
Thanks,
Bye.
Justin. Thank you.